Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you this lovely watercolored card that I created using the Spotlight on Nature stamp set. This stamp set is part of a new bundle that you can find in our 2024 annual catalog. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how to get started. I'm going to bring in my small white panel here now in my floral image, and I'm going to ink this up with my StazOn ink. I'm going to twist this a little bit so that I get the two images here and stamp like so. Once I have that done, I'm ready to watercolor. Now I like to use a block for this because it allows me to watercolor without squeezing the ink pad, and I can rinse the ink off my block when I'm finished. I'm going to flip this around and add my peach pie on the other side like so. And I simply kiss the pad to my block and I've got this wonderful palette. So I can move that to the side and I can bring in my water painter and get it wet like so. And then bring in my color. Now I am using basic white paper for this, and so I want to move fairly quickly and not get it overly saturated. I'm going to add first to the back and lay in some depth of color before I use the thinner and lighter peach pie. And I'm going to simply lay that color in right on top and blend while it's still wet. Like so. Now that I have that done, if I want, I can add a little stronger color by picking up some more of the ink without as much water in it and lay in those details. Once I have that done, I can clean my water painter simply by squeezing the water out of the barrel and wiping on my paper towel until it's dry. And then I'm ready to add a little more water and pick up some of this Shy Shamrock on my block. And I'm going to do the same thing, quickly laying in that color on the paper. As you notice, my color is getting softer the more I use my water painter, which is nice. It gives me automatic shading without working real hard. I've got the color laid in, and I can even lay in the stem on top here, like so. And then I can pick up some of this intense Shy Shamrock and do the same thing that I did with the other. Lay in that color on top of the lighter watercoloring I did as desired. A light touch when you're watercoloring is always good because you can always add layers after the fact. Let's see, I'm going to add a little more color here to this sleeve. There we go. You can play with that as much as you'd like or just leave it free flowing. Now that I've got that finished, I'm ready to assemble my card. Okay, I've got my card base here and I'm going to fold it on the score line. This is our thick Whisper White, which makes it a lovely little card base. Then I'm going to bring in my panel of Shy Shamrock and I'm going to adhere that to the card front. Like so. And then I'm going to bring in these two pieces of Designer Series paper. They have 4 patterns in our in color stack, and they come in all 5 colors. For this project, I'm going to use the leaf pattern since I'm doing my floral image, and I'm going to add some adhesive to the back here, and I am going to tilt this slightly and place it on my card front, and do the same with the other on the right hand side. I'm going to allow some of that Shy Shamrock to peek out from underneath. Then I'm going to bring in my watercolored floral image here, flip it over, and add some Stampin' Dimensionals. I've removed the backings, and I'm going to set this right in the middle of my card, like so. Next but not least, I've got my sentiment panel that I need to build. So I'm going to bring in my paper snip and I'm going to trim this sentiment close on either the right or left side so that it's smaller. And I'm going to build the sentiment up. So I'm going to bring in this piece of Shy Shamrock, and I'm simply going to use my paper snips and pop a little banner on one end. And I'm going to be putting it on this side of the card, I believe. And then I'm going to bring in this tiny strip of Designer Series paper, and I'm just going to take my paper snips and cut off the two ends like so. And I am going to lay that on my banner, kind of like that, and just adhere it down. There we go. Next, I'm going to take my twine and I'm going to wrap it around my fingers like so. I'm just doing this loosely, and I'm going to lay it on top of my focal point here for the sentiment. I'm going to kind of fluff this out a little bit. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals and lay them on my sentiment. Oops. Right down the middle. Remove the backings. And this will catch that twine. I'm going to tuck that end in once I place this down on the center. So there we go. I've got my sentiment panel finished, and I'm going to fix this little banner because it's bothering me. I didn't get it as even as I would like. I'm going to be setting this on my card front like so. So I'm going to add another dimensional to the one end where my banner is, and then I'm going to add a little adhesive onto the other end. I'm going to get the trash off my card front that ended up all over the place, and I'm going to set my sentiment panel down like so. There we go. I've got this beautiful card, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shimmer to it with our 2024 in color shimmer gems. These gems come in all 5 colors and add just a little bit of shimmer with their faceted look and iridescent shine. And I'm going to pop a few of these around the card front. I'm going to place one here, and then I think I'm going to take one of the larger ones and place it down here. And I'm going to also place a larger one right here in the corner of the floral panel. So there you go, a lovely watercolored card for a dear friend using the Spotlight on Nature stamp set. This stamp set also has a set of coordinating dies, and you can save 10% when you purchase the bundle. And of course, if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.